6-point favorite over number 14 today. Penn State walloped the Wolverines 42-13 last year and tried to score even more points in the final seconds of the game. Michigan, with just one loss on the season, has their sights on perhaps a Big Ten title and maybe a college football playoff berth. A big reason for the turnaround of the team after that opening loss to Notre Dame has been the running of Karan Higdon. That's according to head coach Jim Harbaugh.
He can break out of a pile of players as good as anybody. So knowing that that's always a possibility is, that's a huge factor in staying with the run like we do.
Michigan State hosting. Make that is at Maryland today. Both teams 5-3. That's a 12 noon kick. The Pistons today on the road to Philadelphia at 12:35 right here on 97.1 The Ticket. Red Wings hosting Edmonton tonight, 6:40 our broadcast time. It's a Ticket Update Desk. I'm Jeff Lesson. For more, 97.1theticket.com.
Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Freed. Alongside of me, my co-host, Lisa Lawson.
Morning.
Hey, Lisa. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Always a pleasure to have you in here. You're sort of my liaison. You're the girl in the office that helps me out with everything. Whenever I don't know something, I go to you. And I don't know a lot of stuff. So thank you.
Please, you know everything.
And then thank you for bringing in all this quality. Doug Andrews, of course, from the Keller Williams Lakeside office, the managing broker out there. Doug, it's awesome to have you here again.
Good morning to both of you.
Good morning to you. Of course, thanks a lot for bringing in those sweet treats out there, Doug.
Absolutely.
About 5,000 calories. I'll be getting a little bit here. Good
morning.
morning.
To start the morning.
Yeah, why not? Good morning, everyone out there. November 3rd, 2018. Again, the Hardcore Mortgage Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We talk about mortgages and real estate just for an hour, so we'll get back to sports right after. A lot of you pretty excited with what's going on. We got Michigan football at 3:30. The Red Wings on a little bit of a tear on a 3-game winning streak, or maybe more. And lots of fun stuff. So keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket all morning long. Of course, Doug, just starting to talk to you the last night, I said, Doug, I got to rush you off. I think I was in the middle of my going to have some dinner late. And the key was to save all the good stuff here for our listening audience. But there's been a big shift in what's going on in real estate over the last couple months. We started to talk about it with some of the other agents who have come on. But, of course, you're going to give us all the real scoop on it, what's happening out there.
Well, the shifts are a natural part of the market. I don't care if it's the stock market you're in. It doesn't matter what particular thing it might be. And we've been on an uphill climb, accelerating to 50,000 feet for the last 7 years. It's really been a good ride back because everybody thinks back to that crash that we had. And, of course, that was an anomaly. That was a rarity in my 38 years. We never thought we'd have that happen. We never thought we'd have automotive companies being bankrupt.
Right.
So
This
is more of a stair step. Okay, it's not so much a shift as it is a market adjustment. The economy is such where prices were going up at 8, 10, 12% some of those years. And we didn't have incomes going up that fast.
Right.
So socioeconomic prices are going to level out at affordability. It's just going to happen.
Well, we saw a lot of that going on in this past year, but what was going on in the summertime, it seemed like someone turned the hose off on that. And there's a lot of families out there that have their houses that didn't sell, and they're starting to ask those questions to the listing agents. Hey, what's going on? Where's my multiple offers?
Right.
What's happening out there?
Well, I call it sobering up.
Okay.
Because it was a very intoxicated market. We were all delusional, and it was put the sign in the yard, put it in the multi-list, and we had 8 offers within 24 hours. That's not a real market. Okay, it's never been a real market, and it's been a great feeling. And we've done very well by it, and now is where things are going to balance out. And again, I equate it with the stock market hitting almost 29,000. Well, what did it do in the last few weeks?
Yeah, slid back big time.
Slid back, but now it's doing what?
Hopefully gaining again, or leveling out. Could we say?
Yeah, leveling out to a more stable market. So I'm not worried about where we're at right now. I'm worried for people that, across the street, do you know what they got? My house is better than theirs. It's got heavy-duty nails. Of course, I should be getting more money for mine. And that's where people have to get more realistic about what are their goals. Okay, and if you're going to meet your goals, maybe you're not going to get as much as you thought you would. But likewise, when you're buying, you're not going to be paying as much. So it really all balances out, Harvey.
Yeah, I like that point. Definitely, if you're not, that's the point well taken, is if you're not going to maximize, maybe you're not going to get that extra $10,000, but when the house you're purchasing, the same thing's going to go that way.
Exactly.
Just keep a few dollars in your pocket.
So what would you
keep
tell
it in perspective.
What would you tell somebody? I've had my house on the market 60 days. I didn't get the multiple offers. I'm right at the end. I'm trying to sell. I need to move. What should their next step be?
Well, again, let's take a look at why homes don't sell. Mm-hmm. Number one, condition. Number two, could be location. Or the most likely one, price. And the most likely thing is it's all three. Condition, location, and price. That's what has to be in harmony for today's buyers to say, hey, this is a fair value. Okay, and that's what the buyers are going, well, I'm going to push back a little bit here because even buyers are very sensitive and watching, hey, the home's been on 30, 60, 90 days. Now, smart shoppers, I think, because I buy most of my homes in the fall, are from people who put their home on in April, May, June, or July. Mm-hmm. They've been on 90, 120 days. They've already moved on to their next home. They want to get it closed before it goes into winter.
Right.
If I was a buyer right now, get out there and get in the hunt because there's some good deals to be had.
Yeah, you're hearing it from a lot of expertise here. 38 years in the industry. Of course, Doug, you started the offices with the Prudential offices, as you told me earlier, out in Grosse Pointe. And now it's all Macomb. Macomb County's just been blowing up, obviously, over the last 25, 30 years. And there's so many great opportunities out there. It's really affordable still. That's truly the key is Michigan's affordable. We live in a very affordable state, which makes it fantastic for families to purchase homes. Again, the median home price in the United States was about $262,000. And here in Michigan, the average median sales price is about $206,000 now, maybe $205,000, right in that ballpark. So affordability's there. You're talking $60,000 in income. Sometimes it could just be two, a husband and wife who have two simple jobs, $35,000, $40,000 each a year. Now they're at $75,000, $80,000. They're able to buy over that $200,000 limit in most situations.
Well, and this MSHDA program you and I are talking about, that $20 million, I think you said, Harvey, that's coming into the state.
There's $15 million left. Five's already gone. I
just checked. $15 million left. Fill everybody on the details on that because I just learned about it a week ago.
Yeah, Lise, it's a great program. Lise, the Step Forward program, you're the expert.
So the Step Forward program, there's 61 zip codes that it applies to. And in essence, it's a $15,000 down payment assistance that is forgivable after 5 years. So if you stay in that home and maintain it as your primary residence, you actually owe nothing back. And it should cover your down payment, your closing costs, taxes, prepaids, and any additional money that you may not have used because it is for max financing only, they put as a principal reduction at time of closing. I mean, there is no better deal that I've ever heard of with MSHDA or anything else at this time than the Step Forward program. So if you're fortunate enough to live in one of those 61 zip codes,
or if you want to live in one of those 61 zip codes, for sure.
Southfield's one of them. That's where our offices are.
I guess my question is, do you get the whole 15, or can you use part of it? Is it how does it? What are the mechanics of it?
So that's max financing based on the loan type. Meaning, if you're going FHA, you still put 3.5% down. It would cover your down payment, all your closing costs. Anything extra is a principal reduction at time of close.
Principal reduction.
Principal reduction at time of close. That is unheard of. I've been doing MSHDA a really long time. And this is the first time they've ever rolled anything out like this. So.
Let me throw the number out there. So basically, if you're buying a house and it's 3.5% down, and your closing cost and your escrow account and your homeowner's insurance and all that equals $11,000 or $12,000.
Correct.
Leaves you maybe $3,000. You can go ahead and use that to buy down your balance.
Right, but you buy down the balance. Absolutely, that's exactly
incredible.
what you're doing.
It's $15,000. It's forgivable.
Correct.
Call Capital Mortgage Funding today. Of course, we're going to be talking about it a little bit later today.
There's a misnomer too with MSHDA. Everyone thinks MSHDA is its own lending program. It works hand in hand with a conventional loan. So you could do a 3% down conventional. Right. You could do FHA. You could do USDA. You could do VA. MSHDA works in tandem with those loans. So people say all the time, well, I don't qualify for this and I don't qualify for that, or I don't have a lot of money. There are so many options out there now. You don't have to be a first-time home buyer to use MSHDA, although the program Step Forward is for first-time home buyers only.
Yeah, but for first-time home buyers, it's phenomenal.
It is absolutely. I agree.
And where can we see those 61 zip codes?
You can. It's actually posted online on my Facebook page. It's been on the Capital Mortgage Funding Facebook page as well, and you can always give us a shout. Harvey will give you the number, and I'm happy to provide any information you need in more details.
Yeah, I just whipped out the actual brochure on it. It's got a little bit more information. So we're going to start posting these on the Capital Mortgage sites. Doug, I'll share it with you. You get it all on the Keller Williams Lakeside site. That way you can see all the different zip codes. Doug, just to give you an idea, in Macomb here, I'm looking right now at 6 different zip codes, 48089, 91, 66, 4821. I mean, lots of opportunities out there.
48075 in Southfield is one of them.
Yeah, there's so many just great
Yeah, there
opportunities.
is. There's really great opportunities.
So-
Absolutely.
So, the sales price is the maximum guidelines is $224,500. So
Correct.
again, anyone looking in that price range, if you're a first-time home buyer, or if you haven't owned a house in the last 3 years, that makes you a first-time home buyer
Correct.
too.
Absolutely.
So find out more about it. Again later today at 11 o'clock. We're going to start having these every Saturday morning at Capital Mortgage Funding at our office. A 1-hour home buying seminar. If you're a first-time home buyer, if you've bought a home before, if you're a real estate agent, if you just want to come in and sit down and see what we talk about, we would love to have you every Saturday morning. Just come by our office, and again, if you could call first, we'll let you in the back door. That's sort of the key, is just to give us a phone call. But the home buying seminars are fantastic. We share so much knowledge with people, and there's no obligation. So looking forward to having some of you people show up. We've got tons to share with you all morning long here. 248-539-9797. We'll be back right after this.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Danberg for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Grosse Ile, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
All right, welcome back to the show, 9:31. If you're just joining us, of course, it's a big game coming up at noon. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. We're going to have sports starting off at 10 o'clock. But first, of course, we'll finish up our hardcore mortgage real estate business show. Make sure you get all your finances and get that house you want. We were talking about lots of different things so far this morning, including the millennials having that opportunity, Kev, as you mentioned. That market between really 375 and above, it's gotten a little bit slower, that next step up house. So there's some great opportunities out there for a lot of millennials. 248-539-9797. As your family's growing, give us a phone call. We'll talk about it, and we'll go to Kevin first out there and on the radio. Let's see, where are you at? Where city are you? I don't even know where you're at, Kev. Maybe on a cell phone. Good morning.
Hey, I'm from Ypsilanti.
There you go. What's going on out in Ypsilanti?
Okay, last week, me and my girlfriend, Davita, was talking about marriage and buying a home, and she asked me this question. She asked, is it better to have your house built than buying one? She want to know what is the pros and cons of having a house built than to buying one.
Okay. Good question. You want to tackle that one, Mr.
I
Kevin
love that
Stewart?
one. Build
Good.
versus buy is one of my favorite topics.
Okay.
I love talking through with people. So let me ask you a question. Do you currently own a home now?
No, renting.
Okay. So this is, you got to understand the truths and the fallacies of building a home. Typically, when you can't find inventory, when there's not a lot out there, that's the number one reason that people will build. They create their own inventory. Or they have extremely set ideas in their mind of what they want. They have a very specific house in mind that they want to do. So they actually go out and create that home. Understand, building is almost always, I can say almost always, going to be the more expensive route. Right. Generally, when you build a home, you are not going to be to a what I call a truly positive equity position for a few years, because there's a lot of things that you don't see. There's hidden costs. You know, it's usually going to come with a sprinkler system and maybe a lawn, but your front lands
Oilers. Pre-game tonight at 6:40 on 97.1 The Ticket.
All right, welcome back to the show, 9:16. If you're just joining us, the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We're in our 19th year on the air here. And, of course, you can call Capital all day long, 1-800-LOW-RATE. The best mortgage banker. Call and get that approval letter, the strong approval letter. Better yet, really build your knowledge bank. I like that one lately. That's what I think it's all about, is really if you want to get into a transaction, every month we see the same thing, Lisa, and you'll agree with me on this. There's easy transactions because clients are very organized. They're ready to go. They got their approval, their W-2s, their funds to close. It's
realistic
easy.
And they have some knowledge. They've taken a moment, did a little bit of research about the current market and what to expect right now and what they need to do to get this closed. Absolutely. There's a big difference.
Then the other half of the clients are, they just didn't hear about that pre-approval thing. They didn't want to fix their credit ahead of time. So it's just a little bit more work. And we see that even in our surveys when we ask people, how was your experience? Well, the experienced client who closes in less than 30 days, he's going to give you 5 stars. The other client who was still gathering money, had mattress money, still fixing up their credit, they're going to give you 3 or 4 stars because they felt as if we were intrusive or something. So it's very important as a mortgage or a lender out there to really grab the client and educate them and get them on the same page with you and make the experience great for everybody.
And set expectations. Explain to people this is what is expected. If you've got $10,000 in a shoebox under your mattress in your bedroom, that isn't money that we can source. There's a lot of things that we can do, but, we try to make the transaction as easy as possible with as much education as possible so people are prepared and it goes smoothly and quickly for them.
Definitely want to get organized here. We got Doug Andrews in here from Keller Williams. Doug's the voice of real estate all over Southeast Michigan, primarily in the Macomb County area. She's running the Keller Williams office. I know you guys opened another office you just mentioned, Doug.
25 in Van Dyke.
25 in Van Dyke. And that goes along with, I know you got the one, the other one's out in Groesbeck. I've been out there, right?
No, our main one is in Shelby Township, right off of Hall Road and Hayes.
There you go.
And that's our headquarters. And we also have a branch office in Romeo.
There you go. I've been to the Hall Row one. That's the one I've been to, which is pretty popular. There's a lot of agents out there. So you've got these new classes coming up here because we was talking about what's going on in the marketplace for some of the families that haven't sold their homes. You got a lot of statistics out there. What do you think's the most interesting thing out there that sellers and buyers need to know as we're approaching winter time now?
Well, again, we spoke a little bit earlier about people that are in that mode now where, hey, I really want to get this home sold before wintertime happens. And so they got to take a look at it. Do we need to do some staging? Do we need to do some cleanup? Should we put carpeting and paint in? Do we need to reduce the price to where the market's going to be? And that's one of the biggest recommendations and one of the things we keep a pulse on. And about 4 months ago, I started really noticing a big trend of number of appointments were dropping. They'd have that initial rush, 5, 7, 8, 10 showings in the first 3 or 4 days, and then drop off. And then we started seeing appointments that were the second time through, and they wanted to know, was the seller willing to pay concessions? And so the buyers have become a lot more, they want to ask more, absolutely.
Okay.
And so what you're going to see happen as this pulse of the market continues, and it did continue, is that trend of price reductions. So I'm not just watching new listings and what's reported pending and what are they closed, but the number of price reductions. And we're seeing right now the best agents, the really top teams, they're out there sitting down with their seller, going through the numbers and saying, it's time to reduce the price. Okay, you really need to. Now, a lot of agents, they're very shy about it.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to you about the number of expireds that there have been in Oakland and Macomb County. There was nearly 600 expireds, just over 600 in the last 30 days.
Wow.
Now, some of those have been relisted, some by the same agent, some by a new company. Had that original agent had that great, fierce conversation that they need to have with their seller along the way, they probably wouldn't have lost the listing. Okay?
Right.
Many times that seller's going, you know what? We're going to refinance the house, add that family room, add that extra bedroom, do what they want to do, and they're going to stay where they're at because they weren't able to sell.
Well, we might see a little bit of that then. All right. So we talk about the psychological barriers. A listing agent goes out there and he convinces the people they're going to list with him for all the different reasons, their technology, their marketability, that they're the top agents in the area. They're going to bring a lot of buyers, get them top dollar for house. Now they got to go back to them and say, hey, wait, we need to drop that price. I know you hired me because I told you I was going to sell it for the maximum, but we need to reevaluate. Those are tough conversations, but they must be had.
They must be had, and the numbers don't lie. And that's what if you're well equipped to demonstrate to a seller what has been happening, and you've got all the tools at your fingertips. It's just that a lot of agents haven't developed the skills at it.
Okay.
And number one, in knowing their numbers, and number two, in how to have that great conversation. It's a little bit difficult. I call it a fierce conversation, but it's a necessary conversation if that seller really needs to make that move. Okay.
All right, we're going to take all your calls this morning, 248-539-9797. We're broadcasting live here on 97.1 The Ticket. Again, the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm Harvey Free, Lisa Lawson, Douglas Andrews from the Keller Williams office out in the east side and Lakeside. And we got great information here to share with you. If you haven't bought a house yet or if you haven't sold your house, again, we can give you some additional information here. Who doesn't like a higher loan amount? I mean, that's always an interesting thing for the real estate agents. Want to sell your house at top dollar. The mortgage people want to go ahead and loan you the maximum amount of money in most situations. So interesting couple statistics was that married couples aren't necessarily always the ones buying the homes, but still they rank 63% of them are. 18%. Here's an interesting statistic. Single females made up the second largest group. So there you go. To all you single ladies out there.
There we go.
That the women out there, single women,
So
made
true.
up 18% of all the homes sold in 2018. We see quite a bit of that still.
Absolutely.
All right. What else? Marriage. It's not a requirement to go ahead, prerequisite to go ahead and own a house. You do not have to be married. First-time home buyers make up 33%, and with our thriving economy, we're still, a lot of the first-time home buyers are coming out. They talk about the millennials and the younger generation, but even I'll say my generation because they might have some old student loans. That the student loans were weighing families down for a number of years here, and it could be the case. So how important is it to get in? At least we see it often. Get in with your mortgage people. Again, in most cases, there's no obligation to sit down and talk with us.
Nothing.
Get qualified, sort of see those numbers. Can you expand on it a little bit? Talk about debt-to-income ratio.
Sure. So every loan program has different debt-to-income ratio guidelines, and sometimes people have student loans that are in deferment or forbearance, and it makes it for a very easy, cash flow every month for them. But what happens is when you go to apply for a mortgage, they're using calculations depending on the mortgage type and including a number in your debt-to-income ratio that you might not actually be paying. So if you're in an income-based repayment program, it may be that you're only paying $50 a month on a $50,000 loan. Well, if you're trying to go FHA, we have to take that $50,000 loan and take 1% of it and include it. So now we got a $500 payment. So sometimes it's best to sit with your loan officer so we can crunch all the numbers and say, look, these programs, this is how it works. However, there are some programs that will accept income-based repayment. It's conventional, so maybe we need to reflect on getting your score up a little bit so we can qualify for conventional lending.
Yep.
There's a lot of things that we can do, and I don't want to say work around, but we have to get all the information and have a conversation.
Now, Lisa, can I talk?
Sure.
Is it? I heard so many times now from people that they get their credit report, they haven't seen it in a long time. They go, that's not mine. That's not mine. There's errors on.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Almost every credit
all the
report.
time.
And so, how important it is to get that done.
Absolutely.
There's, and that's the thing
Absolutely.
too.
Really
I think
amazing.
families think, and again, with people think that if we run your credit report, it's going to lower your credit score. Mortgage companies can run as many credit reports as they want. I believe it's within 30 or 60 days of you
45.
applying. 45 days. and again, when people have good credit, I don't even see it often, even though I've run a couple and I know they've come back to me after that 45-day window, obviously, and their credit scores haven't changed. So a mortgage lender can go ahead, whether it be a bank, a specialized mortgage lender like we are, a mortgage bank. We can go ahead and run your credit report and take a look at things before you go purchase that house.
So once it's ran once, people don't realize we have a 45-day window to have as many banks/mortgage companies for the purpose of a mortgage run your credit report without it even being another inquiry. So you have this window. So take the advantage of it and take an opportunity. And if you maybe got a call from someone and they say we don't do down payment assistance, call someone else.
There you go.
There's a million lenders out there. We all specialize in a lot of things, and I think that it's an opportunity, from the get-go for them to get an education and explain how the process works and make sure they're getting the best loan program for them.
And I see it often, too, even our conventional buyers, and they're slam dunk, easy transactions to work with. But for whatever reason, they might have a lot of debt out there. And again, that brings down your credit score. And you do get a better offer. You're going to have lower closing costs and a lot of times even a better interest rate by just going ahead and moving that credit score up. You can maybe just pay off one or two balances or lower those balances.
Sometimes it's not even paying things off. I've gotten things deleted that were... no joke, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, we had a collection that was medical that was deleted, was not even the person's collection. They had all the documentation for it, and it bumped their score up about 42 points.
All right, we got a whole bunch of ideas on how to get your credit score up. When we come back, we'll talk about the new program they're launching in the credit world in 2019, buying and selling real estate. We'll be right back.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Groseal, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Welcome back to the show. 9:45 if you're just joining us. We've got 15 more minutes, folks. If you're itching to talk some college football, you got the right station. 248-539-9797. Got Dennis Fithian coming up. It's with sports at 10 o'clock till noon. Of course, the game will take us over at noon. And then we've got sports later on in the day. Game 7 tonight here. So if you're a big sports fan, definitely keep it on 97.1 The Tickets for all your updates. 248-539-9797. You want to talk mortgages? John Kolb, I mentioned jumbo loans right before we went to break. Jumbo loans are just definitely outstanding rates. Why? Because it's extremely competitive market. You can buy and purchase a house with 5% down. You can buy $800,000, $900,000 house with 5% down. We offer these programs. So lots of opportunities out there if you're looking to buy a really nice house.
Yeah, I mean, you're going the rates on the jumbo products are great. I mean, it's a portfolio product, so you're not competing in the open market like, the regular 30, 20, 15-year fix. So, you've got more competition amongst the banks to try to get your business. And that's a good thing for us. It's a good thing for clients who are looking to do a little bit more. I mean, we had a client just a couple months ago who his loan was $454,000 instead of $453,000. We told him to keep it at $454,000 because his rate was about 3/8 better than the conventional rate, because it was a jumbo product.
Right.
And the process was smooth, easy. We do the internal underwrite. We do all our closing still in our office. There's nothing different for us.
Yeah, if you're looking to buy a nice house, you want professional people involved, call Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage bank. You get you all set up. More importantly, we got Kevin Stewart in here. Kevin, just a great real estate agent. Your team's awesome.
For the NFL on Westwood One, the Dallas Cowboys host the Tennessee Titans. Monday Night Football, pregame at 7:30 on CBS Sports Radio 1270.
Welcome back to the show, 9:30. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate and Business Show. Again, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Check out our home buying seminars now every Saturday morning, 11 to 12 o'clock. You can call 1-800-LOW-RATE. That's 1-800-569-7283. Tell us you're coming in. We'll have the doors all ready for you. And again, we usually some beverages or whatever, some coffee, maybe some water and some donuts or something.
I'm not going to lie. Bring your own coffee.
Bring your own stuff. Okay.
Our coffee's not good.
You mean the Maxwell House isn't good anymore?
Not good.
It was good in the 50s and 60s, and it's not good anymore. All right. Bring your own designer coffee for sure. Hey, we bring Doug Andrews in from Keller Williams Lakeside. Doug, you're always filled with knowledge. Wanted to talk to you a little bit about your classes, too, because You said, Harvey, you can come by the class. So as we're doing these home buying seminars and building everyone's knowledge bank, I think it's always about knowledge. This
Correct.
knowledge gives you the confidence. And the same thing goes on the real estate side. There's nothing wrong with being a new agent or even an old mortgage banker like me, 27 years. I have to learn something new every day.
I had this conversation with an agent of mine just in the car while I was waiting for you to pull in. And it's called The Shift, and I gave you a copy of it today, Harvey.
Yeah, thanks. I got the book here.
Gary Keller wrote this book, probably about 8-9 years ago when we were going through a terrible shifting time. This book is written for both upshifts and downshifts, and it really would apply to the mortgage people as well as real estate people. And if I tell you what, if you're in any business, I don't care if you're selling cars, boats, whatever it is, you're going to have shifts in your market. It's how to adapt to it, and it's a major shift in thinking, almost a paradigm, if you will, as we go through these different market changes. And again, I want to reiterate, this isn't going to be any type of a recession. It's a market checking itself. How can any of us complain? Seriously, in 5 years, most of the homes have gone up 50% in value.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? It's going to check itself a little bit. Everybody's got to keep their senses, understand that it's
more of a
still a great
correction,
time to buy.
honestly.
Interest rates are terrific.
Right.
The communities that we have. You said it at the break, we were talking about what a great value you get for your dollar here.
Yeah.
Lise, whenever you talk to a person, a client who's been renting for a number of years, and we finally show them what their new house payment's going to be, and it's lower typically than what they were paying rent.
Yeah, most often they can save a lot of money. Sometimes it's $100, $200, $300, $400 if they actually buy a house versus renting. Why pay someone else's mortgage? You could be paying your own.
More importantly, as we know, the tax deductibility of writing off your taxes up to $10,000, $750,000 in interest. Your CPA is going to tell you if you're a homeowner or if you just bought a house and this is going to be your first year, you sit down with your accountant or CPA, you're going to have a big smile on your face. You're going to get more money back. Again, renting a home for $1,200 a month is like almost, when you own it, it's probably about $300 less. You might realize about $3,600 more in your refund the following year.
What's the tax write-off?
It's a wonderful tax write-off. Why pay someone else's mortgage when you can pay your own? Again,
And you're building equity.
I got someone approved yesterday with a 611 credit score. So again, if you have lower credit scores, it doesn't take you out of the marketplace. Well, let me throw a whole bunch of things out there. Again, Capital Mortgage Funding, we have every program out there available. Some of the great programs now that families are talking about are the down payment assistance program through MSHDA, 3% down conventional loans.
Correct.
We have them with income limits and without.
Correct.
So if you're a conventional buyer with a 3% down, there's some great opportunity. A lot of those programs have lower PMI, the private mortgage insurance. But at least let's not forget about the great programs. USDA loans. Why not? Just on the outskirts of Oakland County and northern Oakland County.
In Macomb.
In Macomb, almost that whole area of northern Macomb County, Genesee, St. Clair. I don't want to miss anyone. Washington, parts of Wayne County, Livingston. These are all pretty much in our listening area. But in the rest of the states, all USDA also. If you want to become a homeowner, that's a zero down program. They have income limits, but most families will qualify. So take a look. Again, call the professionals at Capital Mortgage Funding. We'll get you set up with some programs. Now, jumbo loans, we priced out a few this week, and believe it or not, sometimes borrowing more than $453,100 sometimes has a little bit lower interest rate on fixed rates. Lease. We have some unbelievable jumbo interest rates.
We actually do. I just did this the other day. I priced out a jumbo loan last weekend for someone, and the interest rate is better than the 30-year standard conventional. And they were like, "What's happening?" And I said, "Don't complain.
Yeah, right.
Don't complain. Let's enjoy this, because this, usually it's the other way around with jumbo lending. So if you are looking for a larger loan amount, please give us a call. We have some phenomenal jumbo rates."
And there's no doubt last week was a little rough on mortgage interest rates. We'll get that out of the way right away. Again, Doug, you mentioned it's still at all-time lows, but yeah, last week was one of the worst weeks. And we just actually ended yesterday. I would say that now we're back to a 7-year high on mortgage interest rates. So if you go back 7 years, we're still at all-time lows. These are almost historical loans. As we're hovering on 30-year mortgages, generally around 5%. Again, if you have better credit, you might sneak below that, or a little worse credit and a little bit less down, maybe a little above it.
Everybody is.
What about the 15-year versus 30 when you talk about that? Because that's been a big thing right now with people wanting to build equity faster. They think, well, I don't want to have double the payment.
It's not quite double the payment,
No.
Lise. Usually, what are you saying, a $100,000 loan, about $300 difference?
Yeah.
Isn't that much?
It depends. Obviously, taxes and insurance play into it if you're including that, but I would say about $300, give or take, difference in a payment. Absolutely.
Doug, when you bring that up, it always rings this bell. Once we put a client on a 15-year mortgage, no matter what their rate is, they build so much equity and so many more dollars are going towards principal. So even after their second year, when they have 13 years left, it's difficult for us to even offer them a better deal. And the reason why is they won't recoup those 2 years that they've already paid off. So it's an interesting point when you cram the numbers, when you take a look at all these different numbers or what's available to you. And also for that client who wants to do that 15-year payment, again, you can re-amortize. You could amortize your loan differently. You can take a look at an amortization chart and figure out exactly how much you want to send towards principal each month or maybe at the end of the year and amortize it down. So maybe you knock off 5 or 6 years and make it look like a 15-year mortgage.
So a 30-year, like people all the time, and I tell them, especially first-time home buyers at closings, if you're sitting at a closing table and you're signing pages or 30-year mortgage, and here we go, if you make one extra principal and interest payment a year, starting that very first year, you have to do it starting year one, you can in essence take 7 years off your mortgage. You can take your 30-year to a 23-year if you just make a principal and interest payment one additional year.
Huge difference.
Huge difference. Huge difference. Doesn't work if you don't start that for 5 years, in the same way. But I always tell people when you get your tax return, you don't have to do the taxes and the insurance, just the principal and interest portion. Make that one payment every year. It'll make a ginormous difference in how much equity you can build.
Even so, in other words, if your payment
interest you don't pay,
right? If your payment is a total of, and I just some round number of $1,500 a month, hey, take a look. Maybe $1,000, just $1,000 towards principal knocks about 7 years off that 30-year term. All right, 248-539-9797. We love to hear from you. We take calls all morning long. Doug Andrews is in. He's an expert on real estate, buying, selling, anything real estate. This is the show you want to call. Doug, we started talking about some things last night. One of the things I said, Doug, save it for the morning. But one of them is all of a sudden, crawl spaces have issues. It's that time of year. So when things get a little bit tighter, all of a sudden inspections, right? You couldn't go back in the summertime if you were multiple bids on a house. You couldn't go back to the seller and say, wait a minute here. My inspector found this wrong, that wrong. They might have had $5,000 to $10,000 worth of repairs. Now you can go back to that seller. So, definitely go ahead and, Doug, if you want to comment about it, get that inspection done and learn how to negotiate it. Understand that inspection.
I can tell you from a number of times, and I've cautioned people over and over when they say, you know what, we'll waive the inspection. Please don't do that, okay? Take the time to have that done. When you fall in love with a property, you're kind of looking at it's like dating. You're looking at it through rose-colored glasses. You need that independent person to take a good, hard look. It's not going to stop you from buying the home, but you're going to know what you're getting into. Which brings up that point, Lisa, that you had at the break. We were talking about a home you have in Clarkston, a client, and what's it going to take to get it sold. If a young couple said, hey, we love the location, we really love the house, but it really needs this old kitchen blasted out. Yeah. How do you build that into financing? I know there's ways to do that.
We can. Okay. Yep. If we find a buyer that loves the house, we can do rehabilitation loans. We have the 203K with FHA. There's also a conventional rehabilitation loan where we can actually say, the kitchen needs $50,000 worth of work. We can roll in that $50,000 into your original loan amount at time of closing. So there are ways to get that done. So if you find property in an area that you love, but it does need something like that, please just don't think that, well, that would have been great. That would have been a great neighborhood to live in, except I don't want to deal with the kitchen. Those programs
are a mystery to most real estate agents and to the buying public. I think they're one of the best kept secrets around.
I love doing them.
Yeah, you're actually. That's exactly. I'm like, here, Lise, you got a new client here. But again, that can be things that, again, if your inspection or if your own thought process is, we love the house, we love the location. Maybe it's hitting 2 or 3 of the most important needs on your needs list, but the kitchen needs work, the bathrooms need. You can do the renovation loan, get your hands on the money. The transactions close about 45 to 60 days.
Yeah, 45 to 60 days. Yep, absolutely.
Not much longer than a standard transaction.
Correct.
We got to get some construction people in there to get your bids done.
Correct.
Get the cost consultant in there to go over all the paperwork. But these things are doable. And Doug, it's a great program out there. And again, knowledge. Again, we want to educate more.
It's
and more
missed
agents.
Opportunities. People go, if I should have, could have, would have. If I only knew then what I know now, boy, would I have done it different. I sure wish I'd met a Lisa to guide us through. We'd have bought that house.
Right. The other thing is, I have people who want to go buy this house with the 3% down program and think that they're going to be able to get a home equity line of credit the next day. They're like, well, we'll just get a home equity line of credit in a month or two. And unfortunately, that doesn't work that way, because in order to get a home equity line of credit, you have to have equity. And when you're only putting 3% down, you don't get to borrow that 3% equity. There's no 100% cash out, what we would consider financing of a property. So I would much rather someone come to me and say, how do we get this done? How do we get this work rolled in? How can I close and make sure that this, whether it is XYZ, new bathroom, kitchen, whatever it needs to be, is incorporated into this program or into my loan? Because, again, there's so much misinformation, and I don't want to.
The bad thing a lot of people do, they sign up with a builder who says, "Oh, we'll finance you for the next 5 years."
Oh, you know what, Doug? You bring up a new can of worms. When we come back, let's talk about some new construction, some building. We'll talk about these inspections, whether it be well and septic. You got to knock that big tree down before it falls on your house. We've got tons to share with you. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. We'll be right back. Score up. The highest credit score you can have is 848, near perfect. Was a gentleman. He actually worked for the government. But if you get your credit score up over 760, that's the magic number. 760 and above is the best you can be. So do things that'll help you. Get in touch with the right mortgage lenders, including Capital Mortgage Funding. We'll help you using our Mortgage Expert program. It'll help you get that credit score up, giving you the lowest interest rates and the best opportunity for home ownership.
And if you have a low credit score right now, Harvey, that doesn't mean, and we run your credit and it shows up, let's just say, for example, let's use a number 614.
Yeah, thanks,
Let's
Harry.
use a number 614.
Might be a client of mine.
Maybe 612.
Yeah, it's 614. And, we need 620 or we need 630 or 640, whatever it is, to get the client a better situation. We could rerun it in the middle of the transaction as long as the clients made their payments on time. If they paid off some debt or they paid down some debt, we could rapid rescore it, Harvey, and we can get them up to over 620. I'm hoping you did that. But this is just letting people know that these are kind of services we offer. They're not unique services. Most mortgage lenders should be able to do that, but will they? Do they know how to do that? I'm not going to sit here and proclaim that we invented everything, because we didn't. Nobody invented the mortgage business. And, well, that's not true. Somebody had to. But
maybe one person did a long time ago.
Okay. However, is that we can do that we do it on site, and we do it as a part of our daily routine. Yeah. So we practice that, and we put it into practice every single day.
Well, and you guys do it out of genuine service, because we've worked with a lot of lenders over the years, and we run into just about the gamut on lenders. And it's shocking to me how few lenders are willing to put in the time to actually take care of the client properly. They're more about turn and burn, and that's where I feel you guys really differentiate. You're there for the long haul with that person. It's very, very impressive.
Kevin, you mentioned it, and without even knowing about it, maybe you read the book, but there's it's called Subservient Leadership, and you understand that by serving others, by helping others, you will achieve their goal and your goal in return. So if you're going and constantly, we're trying to learn every single day, and we had meetings, John, Harvey, and I yesterday, we're trying to learn new things each and every day.
Coming to Little Caesars Arena tonight, and 97.1 The Ticket Street Team and Ticket Chicks will be at the LCA before the game, starting at 5:30. Get a Hockeytown value pack starting at $69. Each ticket is preloaded with a $10 concessions credit. Call 313-471-7575 or visit DetroitRedWings.com for your tickets to any Detroit Red Wings home game. The Edmonton Oilers come to Little Caesars Arena to take on the Detroit Red Wings tonight. Get more at 971theticket.com. The only way you can take 97.1 The Ticket with you is the radio.com app. Download it today and listen to us anytime, anywhere. 97.1 The Ticket.
Alrighty, welcome back to the show, 9:45. If you're just joining us, again, the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate and Business Show. Hey, don't worry, folks. We got sports coming up real soon at 10 o'clock. We got actually going to have some NBA action here. The Pistons taking on somebody at 12:30, so keep it here on 97.1 for the Pistons game. We got Michigan football at 3:30. That's where my eyes are going to be glued against Penn State. So a lot of good stuff happening here. How about in local sports here? I always like to touch on that a little bit. Had some great ones last night. Of course, my own daughter, so we'll go West Bloomfield over Catholic Central in overtime. And then better yet, Farmington Hills Harrison. Boy, they're going to be one, and they're done after this. They went ahead and took out Country Day, and I think that game was in overtime also. So a little salute there to the Hawks and to the Lakers out. And there's a lot of good stuff. So a couple games today. You got Cass Tech versus Dearborn Fortson and some other games. So go check out your local sports. I love it. It's all about communities to me. You know, living in a community, working in the community or in the county, and it's just so much fun when you go out to even to these high school sports. I know you have a relative,
nephew.
Your nephew's out there. What was he at Fraser High School?
He was at Fraser. Yep, starting quarterback at Fraser High School. So they did not make the playoffs. So
that's okay.
But he's a rock star.
All right, good enough. So, again, good luck out there to all the teams still in the playoffs and continued success to the winners. Keep up the good work. 248-539-9797. You want to talk mortgages and real estate? Of course, I'm Harvey Free and Lisa Lawson from Capital Mortgage Funding. We brought in Douglas Andrews from Keller Williams out at Lakeside. They got a new office starting up, so they'll have 3 powerhouse offices. Tons of great agents out there. Doug,
almost 400 agents now.
Almost 400 agents. Some of the greatest teams in Southeast Michigan. And again, find out someone if your personality matches with them. Fine, you can always interview several different people. And sometimes you're at the right office and you're even at the right team, but maybe just don't hit it off with that person. Well, then ask if they can maybe interview someone else in their team. That's always good.
You have to be comfortable. It's the biggest transaction of somebody's life. You know,
we talked at the break a little bit about how you save transactions, because I get it come across my desk all the time, because when things have the word suck in them, I usually am the guy that puts it on my desk. And so somebody comes in and goes, XYZ Mortgage Company just really stinks. They suck. You know, they're doing this or that. And my deal's going to go dead. No, it's not. Okay? You have to take a second look, a third look. And you brought it up earlier that it's not going to make a difference in a credit report within 45 days, the number of people that can take a look. And talk about how you've taken some of those that were people thinking they were going to lose the house of their dreams, and how you turn that around for them. Because I think that's important for the public to know.
Absolutely.
You can do.
We save deals all the time. And, every mortgage company is a little different. We do everything at Capital Mortgage Funding, MSHDA, USDA, VA. But there are some companies that don't have all the products. They don't have Freddie and Fannie. They may only have one. So if you're working with a company like that, they usually aren't very forthcoming and saying, we only use Fannie Mae. We don't run things through Freddie Mac underwriting. And that can make a difference between yes, you're approved, and no, you're not. So sometimes making another call, even though you feel like in that moment you maybe a little despaired or discouraged because things aren't going quite right, it does not mean that you can't close. It just means you might not be working with the right person that understands what you're trying to do and can get it done.
Or they don't have the product in there,
or they don't have the tools in their toolbox to get it done. It's nothing personal. Sometimes it just doesn't work out for them, but we save deals all the time. I mean, it's one of the things that we are known for. We have underwriters that are extremely responsive. We are very fortunate that we can, ask questions and get very quick answers. And I think that helps us get things done very quickly as well. Especially
one of the best mortgage deals out there, you do too, and I think people are unaware of it, and a lot of realtors are unaware of it, as well as the public. RD loans.
Yeah, they're great.
They are fantastic.
Yeah, 100% financing, no money down. Yeah,
100%.
You can use seller's concessions. You can own a house literally for a couple $1,000s out of your pocket.
Yeah.
And there's several programs just like that. All right, there's lots of different things out there. Find out more about it by calling Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE. We'll set you up with some of these great real estate agents like all of Keller Williams Lakeside. I mean, they got some really powerhouse people out there. Again, what's going on out there? The labor market's been just phenomenal. Wage growth has been a little on the slow side, but I guess they created 250,000 jobs. That when the strong job market, it's not always favorable for mortgage interest rates. So again, we've seen some of our highest rates in 7 years over the last week. This is going to continue. So definitely sooner is better than later. If you're looking at consolidating loans, if you want to get your mortgage done and maybe take some equity out of your house for home improvements or debt consolidation, maybe consider doing it now instead of waiting till after the holidays. We think that there's a shift towards higher prices in the spring. Doug, if you just give us that little heads up, there might be a shift towards higher prices in the springtime. And again, we're looking at maybe a bump in interest rates as they continue to climb a little bit.
Correct. I think we're really a normal, if there is normal, I hate that word, but if there is a normal, expect your house to appreciate between 3 and 4% a year.
Okay.
Okay. And a down bad time, it may be close to zero. Okay, that happens. We're not going to see that. I think we're going to go back to 3 to 5% a year, depending upon where you're at. Are you in Birmingham or in St. Clair Shores? Are you in Warren? Or are you in Shelby? Are you in Rochester? There's going to be these different things happen regionally. So everything you see in the news, please don't believe it. Or everything you see on Zillow or Trulia, do not believe it. You have to really talk to the expert, the expert in your neighborhood.
Correct. Yeah, that's a huge difference.
Expert in your neighborhood, not online. You're not going to find the expert in your neighborhood online. You're going to find that expert by looking around. Who's selling the most homes in your subdivision?
Yeah, a lot of times you focus on the wrong thing. Again, don't let an interest rate dictate where your family's going to go ahead and live, or your residence is going to be, where your family's going to grow, where you're going to meet all their best friends for the rest of their lives and have those deep relationships. So often I can look back at the several different homes I've owned and all the friends and different families that I've met over the years. I mean, even to this day, I've moved out of some of the subdivisions. These are still the people that I run into, and whether they're old-time Facebook, now they're Facebook friends. It's just a tremendous amount of, it's your life, and where you move ends up being your life. If you're don't like where you're living, if you're not experiencing those things, all right, give us a call, and we'll definitely find out how you can get out of there sooner than later.
You know what it is, too? It's not so much the price of the house, be it $200, $220, $250. It's what's my monthly payment going to be.
Right. Absolutely.
Look at the car ads that are on. They don't put the car as $35,000. They put you're going to own it for $259 a month with $10,000. That's what people really need to know.
Correct.
Is what's your monthly budget? What's your monthly nut that you're willing to pay for a home?
And we can work within the parameters that you have.
And people get shocked.
Right. Absolutely.
I can buy a $200,000 home for that.
Right.
Doug, let me throw this out there. I had a couple clients call me even recently, and they said, "Hey, Harvey, the house I'm looking at, I'm excited. Hey, but it's been on the market for, whatever they're telling me, 2 months, or it's been on there since summertime. Hey, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to offer, 30% less, or these crazy numbers. That has to go back to you're sitting down with your agent. You've already given yourself the knowledge. You pulled the comparable sales in the neighborhood. That's somewhere around those comparable sales and what the homes have sold for. That's where you're going to have to be at the end of the day. Could you comment on that a little bit, Doug, is when families just think they're just going to go in there and throw a blanket number out?
Well, again, there's always bargain hunters.
Okay,
we're always going to have bargain hunters.
Good for them.
They're looking for the double discount deal. The person has to sell. It's a traumatic situation of either health or somebody passing away or divorce. They're looking for those negative motivators that a seller might have for moving where they got to sell. Okay, they're the bottom feeding looking for that deal. In a again, normal arm's length transaction type situation, it goes back to what you talked about. Is the house just lacking a kitchen? Are we going to have to make our adjustment for the price because it needs that kitchen remodeled? I think that it's really, really important for today's buyers and sellers to recognize that there are no two homes the same. Okay, just because one sold for this down the street or up the street because we had that problem with the appraisers and foreclosures because the foreclosure sold for 20% less than what a retail house that's in good condition is. It's an ongoing battle, and it's a skilled agent and a skilled loan officer that know how to work with the appraisers so that we don't have these issues come up, okay, which will come up on occasion. And there's times where I've had to switch mortgage companies and get a new appraisal done.
Okay,
you got to do it. Now, I know some mortgage companies will say, hey, we'll do a second appraisal.
Yes.
Okay. And I think that's important to comment on as well, because a lot of people don't understand that you can get a second appraisal because there's no two appraisals going to be the same. Yeah,
we do rebuttals, and what we're able to do is go back to the original appraisal and bring more information to it. And, that's the questions is, as a listing agent, are you prepared when the appraiser does call you? Some of the appraisers, there's all sorts of different personalities out there. Some of them love when they meet the agent there and show them all the comparable sales. Other ones don't. So we get a little of both on that.
And it's important because when an appraiser is going to do a lot of the numbers ahead of time, they're going to come in and take their pictures. If you don't have a list of all those improvements in the last 5 years, the roof, the windows, the this, the that, you need a list.
There you go. Get organized. All right, that music says it's the end of our show. Always the fastest hour in radio. Lisa, thanks for joining us. You're always great to have.
Aw, thanks,
why does that go
Harv?
so fast? I like hanging out with you. Doug Andrews, the best. Keller Williams, Lakeside. Doug, you said I can hang out with you and shadow you for a day.
Please do it.
I'm going to be in the back of your classroom learning about what you real estate agents talk about. All right, sounds good. We got Pat Caputo coming up with sports. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket all day long, and call Capital Mortgage, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. We'll see you next Saturday.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Danberg for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Groseal, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.